So it's me for 90 minutes. You lucky people.
The Earl of Emoji.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad, it's a good alliteration, isn't it?
I know. I kind of like it. It should be your title, on your card. Emoji software, Earl of Emoji.
Head of nifty stuff. So today, we'll look at CL first 30 minutes, then we'll switch over to ES. We're lowish attendance at the moment. I wanted to make an observation before we started, but I'll wait for a few people to roll in before I make this deep and profound observation.
Did JVC make an announcement?
No, I don't. We're not announcing the regular.
Oh, we're not. Okay.
Because they're regular.
Right, that's true. But just to remind people it's new, I'm going to go ahead and make an announcement just because it's still new. So
true. Should have less platform issues today. I'm screen sharing off my server in Cermak. So fingers crossed.
Okay, we have alerted the teams.
Cool. I'll wait a minute for people to roll in, then I'm going to say some observations. There was some movement an hour ago. I'm going to say 12:30, that's my time, so that would be 6:30 Central, around the job cuts figure. Don't see why, but it sped up a bit.
Oil's in a really tight range this morning, which is and UB at both ends. Well, there was UB at the bottom; it got cleaned up, but now it's at the top from overnight. So,
yeah, it looked like it was heading down. But in terms of that, well, okay, let's think about what could happen at the open in oil. We're opening nearer the low than the high. Let's actually make this visible. Yeah, it is a tight range, isn't it? Half of yesterday's day session. So what did it do?
I wonder where GVC is. Have you talked to him this morning? I saw him online earlier.
No, I saw him in the pit, but I haven't spoken directly. Okay, so it explored down by hello, Valley Girl, by 5 ticks. Hasn't left a particularly good pattern at the bottom. So when we open, it wouldn't surprise me if we go break the overnight low. It's been hanging out, wrong screen, Lee. It's been hanging out. Yeah, okay. So I'm looking at ES here because I've got CL on the screen below. Hang on.
Time for more tea.
Right, because that window isn't maximized. That's what we want. Okay, and I see what I did. Fine. So it's been hanging out around what I think had some UB levels on the daily, which aren't coming through here. I know why. It's because I've set this machine up to do stuff. But I think we've still got a bit of a vacuum below us. If we can get significantly below where we are now, which it's doing right now. So with this behavior, if we're thinking about an overnight ledge going at the open, which one do we think it might be based on what's happening now? The question is, are we going to be able to get in? No, look, 8 overnight has happened. Yep. So not even a chance of trading that. We'll see what happens. It settles down, but this is one of those examples where there's no trade purely because it happened so quickly. Yeah, look, we opened, that was in a blink. Yeah, you wouldn't have got it. The bottom is not low enough, but how do you get in for a short? Well, you couldn't have got that sweep. So I'm going to sit and wait for a bit and just let it settle, and we'll see if there's any opportunities during the formation rate period. It might make for an interesting B2A, actually. But what I'll do, a couple of observations about today. Firstly, we've got NFP tomorrow. So I'm not going to be at all surprised if we are left hanging with things like UB at the extremes of the session on ES, and it doesn't resolve. We could easily just get to a point where we don't know what's too high or too low because we're going to be waiting for new information. I'm not going to chase this on CL. And just trade accordingly today, given it's NFP. But the other thing which I'm mindful of, the account I'm trading here is one of those $3 Lilu evals. I spent $1 less than $10 yesterday, and I took 325K valuations. Like $3, who wouldn't? However, I want to talk to this a little bit because I know a few people signed up for those, and the point, the right mentality to have on this is not a $3 evaluation. It doesn't matter what happens to it. This is still an opportunity to get 8K split free over a period of about 4 months. Yeah. So just because it only cost you $3 is no reason to be glib with it. You're throwing away potential 8K if you blow up one of these. If you've taken 3 and you're trading them either replication or simultaneously or doing other things, there's 24K split free that has cost you effectively nothing. Okay, you're going to be into about $500 of data fees over the term per account, but you are sitting on an 8K opportunity. Yeah. So keep that in mind when you are trading it. And with that in mind, because this is brand new, fresh one, haven't traded it at all. Yeah. It only needs $150 pro rata today. So there's $1,500 trailing drawdown. It's intraday unrealized trailing drawdown, worst of the worst. It is very easy, certainly when we're moving this sweepily on CL, it is very easy to suddenly have a position, not exit it, and you were $200 up, but you closed the position at $50 up. And you've now reduced your available drawdown by 10%. Yeah. So if you have taken a $3 eval, treat it as treat it as a really good opportunity to go make 8K, be super mindful of the intraday trailing drawdown. And for me, if we're moving about this much, so oil is moving, each update we're moving 3-4 ticks, I can be swept 10 ticks away in a blink before I can even move my mouse the way this is opened. Yeah. I don't even want to try anything yet. I just want to sit and wait for the best chances to try and get $150 on this account. If that happens during the session, I'll switch to another account. We'll do something else. Also, some people on these 25K evals have been playing with 3 lots. I think that's madness with the available drawdown. If you only have to make 150-ish bucks a day, you can use 1 lot. Might be 2-3 trades, or how many 1 ticks? It's 20 1 ticks net on the net of commission. So with horrible intraday trailing drawdown based on unrealized P&L, and only $1,500 of it to play with, tread carefully. Wait for the very best ace king things. No reason to dive in right now at 9:05 Eastern. While CL is bouncing around, can just wait for things to present themselves. So for the next 90 minutes, I'll be doing my best to keep Kimber the monkey in his cage based on that little lecture which I've given. And we'll just see, how can you go about low risk, stress free, trying to accrue that sort of revenue. Okay, need to make JVC co-hosts. He is here, and he's a co-host. There we go.
Thank you, sir.
Cool. How are you doing, JVC?
Oh, I was calmly contemplating a potential short about a minute before the oil opened, and then just all hell broke loose, and I got no trade.
Yeah, let's see what's happening in the equities. Just for the opportunity now is B2A. It's hammered itself down. I'm missing a couple of studies here. Actually, I think I know why. Because I need order flow suite on this machine. Okay, I'd better deal with that. So the low, almost price rejected, but not quite. I can see on my other machine, it just got to 62.81 was a 0 print, which it's gone through on the daily. The next one is 61.39. So 40 is going to be an interesting level. We don't quite have a price trajectory at the bottom, But I've got to say, I'm not interested in trying to trade this right now. Too sweepy. Yeah, on this itty bitty little account. Okay, so little message there. Let's just see how the equities are lining up pre-open. This should be a lot more stable than things were yesterday, because I'm doing this screen share off my server in Chicago. So I'm not running Zoom in Chicago, I'm running Zoom locally. I'm screen sharing the remote desktop session. What's going on in the world of equities? NQ up, everything else. So hello. NQ down. Yeah, red means down. Everything else up. But yeah, we keep pushing the lows. Daily picture.
Quick reminder, Lee, JVC and I are trying to keep very mindful of this. While we're doing this format, it's really useful not only to say and point to levels, but to name the price. Name the prices. Yeah, because it's sometimes hard to see exactly where you are on your screen quickly. So we can just listen.
I don't think I've got the spotlight on either. Spotlight, here we go. Yeah, so it's ES is pushing its lows. NQ hits stops down at the lows. Everything is pushing lower. But good morning, Alfredo. But boringly, yeah, given the constraints on this account, I'm going to be sitting on hands until things get a lot steadier, because I don't want to do anything to jeopardize this potential 8K no split Lilu evaluation that costs next to nothing. So we'll tread carefully.
Real quick comment about those $3 and whatnot. I was just playing around with the numbers of those in my head last night. And all it's going to take for Lilu to blow up is a few of those to have to be paid out. And, they're going to, right now they've got this, uncaptured liability, which, unless somebody, successful, the liability doesn't present itself. And I would be stunned if they were actually accumulating, cash for the liability on their books. I doubt they are. So
what I think they do, they potentially replicate trades. They have a bunch of metrics. I think once somebody is showing X amount of consistency, they probably start hedging it. Maybe not all the position, but they maybe start mirroring half of what the person's doing.
That's an interesting idea. I wonder if they are doing that.
Yeah,
be a fly on the wall in their operations room, right?
Yeah, I have also, I think, worked out the business model on these loss leaders. I want to run some numbers on it, but I think they're being potentially cleverer than they realize they are, or they're being really clever. But anyhow, for us, as long as you take it seriously, it's a good opportunity. If you're glib about it, then why not just rip up a $10 bill?
Oh, absolutely. It's a great opportunity. And you're absolutely right. You got to just look at it as how fast can I get through this and get their money before they blow up?
Yeah. Okay. So I've got equities up on this main screen, which I'm sharing. Let's still UB at the low, but some absorption. But I'm watching CL on the other machine. I think we'll switch to CL just to see if we can start to get a read on potentially what an A to B might look like. B to A. You know what? It's time to have some tea. Get the brain in gear. I only have one cup so far today, so bear with. Right, normal service has been resumed. Yeah, so for me, this is all far too fast and sweepy right now to go and play with. So on the news this morning, we had the CEO of Pfizer was on British TV talking about annual vaccines and things like that. And I don't run a heat map, but it would be interesting to see, how are the vaccine stocks doing? What a great business model. Engineer a new variant and release it into the wild, sell more vaccines.
It's like the antivirus companies in the computer model.
This isn't even it's not even an analogy, is it?
It's not. It's a. It's not even a simile or a metaphor. It's a literal. Thing.
Comparison.
Yeah.
Parallel.
There you go.
Oh, fantastic. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I've had my 2 doses, but
oil just caught a major league bid.
Yeah. It is all over the place right now.
Yes, it is.
Just setting something up on the other machine. Where we are, it's okay. It's 9:11. We'll give it another 3-4 minutes. First 15-minute candle can form, and then we'll have a little assessment as to what's going on. And the way it's trading at the moment for all the NQ, what would be the collective noun for people that trade NQ? I'm going to suggest crackheads.
Nut jobs?
Yeah, I prefer crackheads. It seems more appropriate. I think CL must be perfect this morning. Very good. Someone came up with another one. They sent it to me privately. One and the same. Yeah, and for me, this is kind of untradeable right now. But look at this. Whoops, I've lost the spotlight again. Thank you, Zoom. Spotlight. Look at this 30-minute candle. Yeah, it's almost turning into a dragonfly for people that like Asian patterns and insects. It could be a very interesting B period. Let's look at the TPO. What's going on, right? It went into no man's land from nowhere. At the bottom, hasn't quite given us price rejector 6 versus 7, but it did breach what was a 0 print on the daily chart from a way back. But what a wide range. 73 down to, hello. Wow, look at that. 73 down to 43 on the handle below it. So we have had 130 tick range in the first 15 minutes on CL. Okay.
That's $1,300 on a 1 lot, just for reference, guys. It's huge.
Yeah. David's saying to me, seeing my equity screen. Really?
We're seeing your domes.
Yeah, I see Ford. I can't tell what they are.
I'm showing the wrong screen. It's because I'm on my VPS. Here we go. Now we've got CL. A footprint, a dome, and
there it is. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, just on autopilot. I went to the particular desktop number. Okay. So fine. This is going to be happening a lot better.
Is your machine behaving better today?
Without Zoom, it is. Yeah, Zoom is killing. Zoom on my local machine is killing the screen share on my local machine, which is very strange.
But it's okay on your VPS?
Yeah, because I'm not running Zoom on the VPS.
Oh, it's not running locally on that machine. So
exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So we've got a super snappy machine. Yeah, not running that much. It's
screen sharing.
Yes. So I'm just remote desktoping into a Xeon server, which is all mine, running one instance of Sierra chart. Normally, it doesn't even have this chart book up. And I'm screen sharing off that. It's 1 millisecond from Cermak. So everything should be snappy. Okay, so yeah, I was totally sharing the wrong screen. Okay, CL's doing nothing. Let's look again at the equities. I don't want to touch CL line. We'll look at CL again towards the bottom of the hour just to see if there's any opportunity in B2A. But this kind of movement, I don't want to play with. What's happening next? See that you should all see my equities. Okay, it's left a very tasty UB at the low. It's trade away UB, big absorption. How are the others looking? Look at all these zero prints on NQ. I am exploring a little bit lower. Yeah, I'm sitting on my hands till the open. Not much else to do. Yeah, just going to do a little housekeeping. So what are you doing, Jerry C? Sitting on your hands, I guess?
Indeed. I've got nothing to do until B period oil, A period ES. That oil movement right before the open just sort of blew my mind. I just watched it and went, wow, I'm not touching this.
I was lucky. I was short when that happened, but the rest of it ever since then. I just did a one lot in the micro oil, and it lost $10 with no MAE and zero amount of time.
That's boom. It just
I put it on. It was immediately stopped out, and it didn't even record time in the trade or MAE, even though the MAE was huge. It didn't have time to measure it.
These are signs to sort of step aside when.
Yeah, that's the market telling you, good idea to sit on your hands here.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was speaking to a broker last week, and what day was moving fast last week?
What language do they speak?
Gibberish.
Yeah, exactly.
Could it have been Friday? I've lost track of the week. Must have been Friday when we had that big down day. They weren't even watching the market. They didn't know where things were. They're just doing housekeeping. It's hilarious. I mentioned, this is my experience earlier in the day. I don't want to do this, don't want to do that. Like, what's it doing today? Where's it trading? So that I found funny. You got some brokers, Jim Kagina at Transact, when he does live sessions, he'll open the session and say, right, let's do a poll. We're going to go long, we're going to go short. And they'll throw a contract on, and you see what it's made or lost by the end of the webinar, which is quite good fun. This particular guy is like, market? What market? I just route people's accounts to the FCM.
The brokers at Global Trading, which is a California-based introducing broker that was really popular in the early 2000s. They did a lot of marketing online, and they're in a bunch of countries. And one of the brokers there used to put up all their customers' accounts. And when the customers were losing the most money, they would fade the market and go the other way.
Yeah,
and it worked. So they would look for peaks in their clients' drawdown.
There's method to that for sure.
Oh, there is, no question about it. Yeah, that's why they did it. It was pretty funny. And most people don't understand that, but a broker, their back office, they can do that. They can bring up all their accounts and see your P&L, at any moment. So they're watching you.
Oh, there's not much to do at the moment. Let's have a look at the TPO on the. Okay, Jonathan's got visitors again.
Sorry about that. I had muted my local headset, but not my computer, so my alerts were still going to come through.
I used to use alerts like that for the tick. When the tick would go extreme, plus 1,000 or minus 1,000, there would be fire alarms. And It was hysterical. After a couple of months of that, my cats realized that I did that. And whenever they heard it, they came running in and got all over the desk because they knew if they pestered me enough, I'd give them treats to go away. So,
it was the treat alarm.
Yeah, it was the treat alarm. Exactly. They'd come running when they heard it.
My cat
that used to be a good trading signal, by the way, just fading extremes of the tech, but that was in pre-order flow days.
Well, was it Joe our senior member. He liked that idea, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he has a brother-in-law or son-in-law or something who's a prop trader who trades off the internals. And I bet that's not all he does. But yeah, years ago, it was a really good edge. I remember, gosh, unless the market was completely, just in a total flash crash, if you got a minus 1200 tick and you bought the futures, it was really hard not to scalp some points. It almost always turned at least somewhat there. It's like buying the lows here, and scalping a couple of ticks on the pullback. It was the same idea, but it was more predictable.
So here's something interesting. Here's something noticeable on the TPO. The horizontal lines are, whatever. Could be a POC, could be value area boundary. Don't really care. And they're calculated on both TPO levels and also volume profile levels. Yesterday, day session, we traded down to 97.75, and there's a naked level at 97.25. So it traded down to within 2 ticks of a naked level. It did reach, it must be the volume profile equivalent of it or the TPO equivalent of it. And we've got UB at the low on ES. So ES is looking interesting for a move down to around yesterday's low. But the question is from where and how to trade it. And I don't know why that keeps popping up. It's got 8 minutes to go.
The current rotation in ES has a ton of UB at the bottom. The overnight low there. You see it?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's, oops, there we go. So I've got this here, and that was the last push down. And this is fresh. There's nothing else to aggregate. So that's at the bottom of the profile. It's for the time being, it's trade away because it's absorption based. But there's nothing at the top of the pullback that's interesting. So potentially interesting areas. The big overnight delta just above 19.25. Where's the midpoint overnight? 28.75, a long way up there. It's not a mixed picture, but it is too early to say right now where interesting areas are. It can easily be one of those days where the what to do is going to be relatively clear, but being able to execute on it is going to be much harder. CL has slowed down, but it's still jumping around several levels each move. I'm quite open-minded at the moment between the equities at the open or CL. CL is trading, okay, it's above the midpoint right now. Frankly, with CL, if I was looking at B2A, I was really, rather than trying to slingshot it, find the turnaround point and get in, I'm inclined on a day like today to actually look for the move to be underway and then trade it much more like a ledge break and just see, can I take a really small piece out of what's going on rather than try to get in at the actual start of the inside out trade. There could be far too much or far too many attempts at that, and I don't want to take on that risk. Likewise with ES, we'll see the nature of the movement when ES opens. I think it's going to be awkward. It's the word that springs to mind. I think the low is going to be in play, but the question is, how to actually capitalize on it. Other than that, it's a great day for trading. To Jeff's cat comment, I had a cat that very quickly learnt the sound of the can opener, had a correlation to tuna. And it was so disappointed when it would come running into the room and it heard from the first puncture of the can opener in the can to discover that, no, I've opened a can of beans or vegetables.
Cats are genetically programmed to respond to can openers, I think.
Almost certainly, yeah.
Yeah.
But like to the milliseconds. Ding, what are you doing here?
Yeah, the trader cat gets these little pop top wet foods, and they sound just like pop top sodas. Same sound.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I opened a little sparkling water, and boom, they're all there.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah. 4 minutes to go. I'm going to go on mute and let you call it because I'll be scalping, but it'll be interesting to see if we're in agreement along the way.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to do anything that active at the open because of how I'm nursing this account. Right. That's a good word. But we'll see.
I hear you. Yeah. I'm running two different ones. I'm running two evals. One's a little 25K, and I'm not going to trade that at the open 5, but I've got a 50K that I'm being aggressive with. And that's going to be a traded or not with a 5 lot of ES. So it should be fun.
And I wanted to stress this to Owen isn't on, but Owen was talking this morning about how he traded his new ones yesterday. And I thought, it's worth making the point. These $3, $3 is throwaway, but 8K isn't. And you are sitting on an 8K opportunity. So
you have to really manage that, your brain on that. Yeah, I found myself doing that with a couple of evals too, because I was using one to test for different kinds of risk management in oil, and I've come to the conclusion that there is no set way to risk manage in oil. I've tested 100 different new ideas, and it's too unpredictable. There's nothing you have to be discretion. There's just no other way around it.
Don't trade.
Yeah, and just trade it. All right, I'm muting. Have fun, folks. I'll be listening to your.
Yeah, I'll probably do some stream of consciousness just to help people out in pattern recognition, but I'll likely not trade this.
Yeah, I think that's really useful, particularly as you're the max delta at this price, the min delta at this price. That's really, I like listening to it while even if I'm scalping, it gives me context.
Lee Squawk.
Yeah, exactly, Lee Squawk. Could mix that. It could be edible bites from the Earl of Emoji.
Oh, that's good, isn't it? With added calcium. So I've got the equities up at the moment. I've got CL on my other screen, and I might switch to it on this screen if I suddenly see B2A as an opportunity. What's interesting on the equities, the pullback, the top of the pullback here, so 14.75 downwards, it's giving us a nice price trajectory, but while we were busy talking about cats and their eating habits, we neglected to look at that. There could have been a nice shortish entry there into the open. I think this open, it might just open and bam, do the same thing like oil did and get to the overnight low. We'll see. No, I don't want to chase this here. But oil, meanwhile, okay, it's still below its open, but 15.16 is big negative delta in the pullback, but I don't like the movement, and less than a minute to go. We can wait all day. I notice as well on oil is on its pullback, it traded within one tick of its high, which is cheeky. So it opens today at 45, traded up to 73. And since the low, okay, here we go. Since the low, it traded up to one tick off its high. Okay, it looks like ES is going to have a go at breaking the low, but it's moving too fast for this account to try and join this. So 8 overnight, I think, is going to be to the downside. But that's why you don't want to rush it. CL, meanwhile, is going up. Zero prints about 40. So CL on a B2A is looking plausible to break the top. We've got this going on here. and it just did it. So there's the CL B2A. That happened so quickly, and B2A is done in CL. Let's go back to the equities and now see what's going on. And it could well be that the equities look, and the equities trade up the big positive delta of overnight. Yeah. If we had CL up as well, I think we'd have seen that move was like so tightly correlated. So we've left UB at the high, we've got UB at the low, and I think the overnight low is going to be in play. But I don't want to rush in to join this because of the UB and the big positive delta. I think we could go anywhere, frankly. Let's get the other equities back visible. NQ is just all over the place. So RTY is pushing lower. YM is pushing lower. But for the risk I've got available in this particular account, this is too volatile for me to try and join in with this right now. Now, NQ is on a tear. So we need to have a look at what happens around the top of the S, around that big positive delta. Hasn't quite got through it yet. So it's being led by NQ, NQ up. RTY coming off its lows. It was stops at the lows, 21.51.5. YM looks like it's pushing down. But yeah, I mean, for me, this is not tradable right now. Looks like YM might be, nope, stand corrected. I think it's going to be YM and RCY that will lead us down. But the question is, where is NQ? How high does NQ have to get to? Midpoint is 92 in order for everything to start to get aligned. I think we're too early at the moment to be looking for any short. Stand corrected. This could be it. YM and RTY. YM's breached its low. And heading down, I think ES is likely to follow. RTY's left UB. Just, the question is how to get an entry and get decent risk management on it, which is why I'm sitting on my hands right now with this. YM's broken it again. Okay, here goes ES. But how can you get in? This is crazy. So let's have a look at how far ES might go to. Is there any possible turnaround point to go down, or where could we be going up to? Could it be the overnight high it's going to have a go for? It's a possibility. Oh, we opened so low. We got to within 3 ticks of the overnight low that had trade away UB. What landmarks have we got between here and the overnight high?
Well, that was wild and woolly.
Very much so. I've done nothing so far because it's just too freaking hard, too risky.
Yep. I got back to scratch and said, you know what? No more. I'm done.
No, there's a whole day ahead, so
yep.
And I'm pleased with the B2A. I took B2A in another account on CL, but on equities now, for the next 45 minutes, we'll just watch the equities. Could it be doing the overnight high? You'd think so. There's no price trajectory at the top, but again, how to get in? There's just too much risk to carry if you join in.
Your zero print front run worked beautifully a little while ago, but trying to stay in it once you got in was just too hard. I got 2 whole ticks because it was just so whippy.
Yeah, and it's I'd say it's foolish to try and play it.
Yeah. I'm quite happy to be at a scratch right now.
Yeah. We don't have a price trajectory at the top of overnight. So 51.5 is an interesting place to get out. But I'm going to put a sell there just in case there's an opportunity to get in somewhere, but zero print up there that needs to fill in the pullback. We could do things like put 2 on there that takes in, get 1 out. It gave us a price trajectory at the bottom of that pullback. Take a tick out of this, protect it really quickly. So YM and RTY have Both made new highs with the UB. Combo highs, UB. Oh, that's 2. So on that fill, I got swept slightly on that fill. I got slippage. I should get a tick out of this, and then we'll see what happens. Okay, got a tick. I can protect it. Okay, got 2 ticks. Woo! Okay, got something on the board. UB at the top of YM, UB at the top of RBY. So I think, yeah, our direction is up. It's very hard to try and join it on ES. Hard to join on anything. Big negative delta there to potentially lean on. There being 35.75 in the pullback. This zero print that we could try and front run at 39.5. Maybe lean on the big delta, big positive delta. That's where the aggression came in. This price rejector forms in the pullback. 43.25 down. Yes, I was in the right place for it, but I was too cautious. Another zero print, which just could have been front run. Wow, I clicked market and I was off by about 5 ticks. We should be able to get out of that with the UB, but we'll keep this thing going now. I think we're going to get up to the high. Let's just protect this because it's so sweepy. Stop me out. Thank you. Can we repeat the exercise and get in anywhere? Try leaning on negative delta because that would turn it into a price rejector. It hasn't though. And everything else is driving up. I think I'm going to be okay with this. Okay, NQ's coming down, of course, while everything else has had enough. I'm going to hold this to the big positive delta. Because YM and RCY is about to break their edges again, I think. That's just early on that. Yeah, it looks like NQ is coming back up. YM and RCY is still pushing up. Just need NQ to join in. Going to see what happens to the zero print at 39.5. It filled in. If we get below that, then I will get out. Yeah, I'm getting up. That was a change in fortune, wasn't it? I still think we're going to go up. The question is from where and how. Okay, it's from there, potentially. Price rejector again at the bottom of the pullback. Not a brilliant one, but slightly better entry than I did last time. So sweepy. Right, let's see if we get this to be A2 overnight. Okay, RTY is heading towards the overnight high. YM's already breached it. I'll take something off this. This isn't rushing to pay me, and I want to get something out of this. It stopped me. Let's see if I can get in again around this level. So I'm still trying A2 overnight. That's my idea here. I think we're okay on A2 overnight now as an idea. Move my stop just below the big positive delta.
At
43.5.
Thank you.
Okay, here we go. We should get paid on this A2 overnight. Thank you. Is this replicating multiple accounts? I'm just doing some housekeeping to check that everything is clean. Seems to be. Long exposure is nothing on all of them. Cool. Okay, so we got A2 overnight. Eventually, I was thinking it was going to happen at the bottom. It didn't happen at the top. We're able to switch view and take advantage of that. It hasn't left a price trajectory at the top yet. I don't want to chase this though. For the purposes of this account, that's made enough. But we'll keep watching. I think what I'll probably do, no, I won't go into sim. I'm going to stay sitting on my hands and we'll just see if there's anything particularly juicy that comes up in the next 40 minutes. But we got the A period trade. Did you trade it, JVC?
Just a little bit of scalping earlier along the way. I couldn't stay in anything, so I ended up back at a scratch, and I'm quite happy to be not in a loss in my funded today.
Yeah.
It was one of these days where the read is clear, but
the execution
the execution, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Super hard. Even like I said, I zero print front ran. Boy, say that 5 times fast. A great entry along the way up. It was fantastic, but I got in and then it was like up 9 ticks, down 6 ticks, up 2 ticks, down 3 ticks, up 5 ticks. It was just so insane. I ended up with 2 ticks out of it, and that was that.
Yeah, and life's too short.
Yeah, totally. I'm finding I don't have much of the overwhelming urge to urge. Boy, I just cannot talk this morning. The overwhelming urge to join in just because.
Yeah,
because it's moving, it's doing stuff, it's in play. You know,
yes.
I don't
realize
risk my
it's an opportunity to lose money.
Yeah, I don't feel like risking my accounts. I've got a shiny new funded now. It's my second one ever. I mean, not concurrent. And this one I want to try to get some money out of.
Yeah,
I want to get it to the point of extraction. So.
And that really changes your view on it. And it's the monkey will still get in the way from time to time, but if you've got a plan to take it to the point of withdrawal, you realize that making something every day, which Amy speaks to a lot, is very satisfying.
Totally.
And it's easy to throw that away as an opportunity.
Very easy.
So what I'm going to do, we got A to overnight. I'm just going to look for B2A and give reads on it. I'm not going to trade around this thing. We got our time bound trade set up, which was good. So we'll just see what happens in the next 30 minutes, see if we can get a sense of which way it might go. So there's a big negative delta at 61.25 from yesterday's day session. But it's nudged its way into that run of single prints on yesterday's day session profile. So may end up getting even higher, potentially up to around 70 area. Let's see. And once you get into the mindset, I think JVC has found this of looking to only take a small amount out of something that happens quite frequently and can be a reliable read. It really helps you sit on your hands, and then you just have to scale up with that idea.
Yep, just.
Okay, we don't have a price trajectory at the high yet, and I think we're going to keep pushing higher. YM has UB at the high, NQ is just going bonkers. But as talking about JVC, the question is going to be execution and how to get in to avail ourselves of this.
Later this morning, Lee will be doing the dance of the 7 avails. Sorry, that was bad.
This range, we have done, 06.
Just for reference on the scalping side, even stuff like 1, 2, 3 tick drills is really hard in this, even with the strong move up, because it's sweeping back, 6, 8 ticks. So, risk management's nearly impossible. So don't feel like, I got to be in this, because even as a scalper, this is really tricky stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to just sit and wait for B2A, which, if we open up here, could be relatively quick, but the question is going to be execution. There's not a price rejector, so 62 is a good place to get out. Make it 61.75 up to 62, buy, stop to enter, sell limit. But why? Don't need that tick. I've already booked 22 of them.
Time for a fresh cuppa.
Oh, actually, I've got one here, but it went cold. Might have to microwave it.
Time for a nuked cuppa.
Yes. .60 range in first 30 minutes. That's big and decent volume. We're at what, 700K now?
It's basically very large range price discovery. That's what's going on.
Yeah. Well, what I find interesting is, we broke 4,500 yesterday. I remember Tom making a comment in the pit. But if we look at the quality of the low, yeah, it's a kind of price rejector-ish. Yeah, it is. A couple of structural levels that were there. Potentially that was it. But it wouldn't surprise me if we go down there and we just want to check out, do we like it down there or not? Or was that it? Okay, coming up to B periods imminently. We've now got a price rejector at the top. I think this is going to pop straight up. Yeah.
When the range is
bang. Yeah.
When the range is this big, Sierra chart is useless the way it centers.
Yeah.
Totally. I mean, what is with that? I just don't get what they're thinking.
Yeah, centering to the bar rather than centering on price.
Yeah, it's crazy. I can't read I can't see whether there's a price rejector or not. Even on my full screen, I have to scrunch it and stretch it. And there is JVC, there is no workaround for that, is there? I heard you talking about this yesterday.
Yeah. Not really, no. The workarounds suck.
It's just pathetic. I don't get what they're thinking,
So B period didn't break A period. It traded to the top of it. Poor high. Yeah, we got a price rejector at the top. If I was trading micros, I'd have thrown one micro on to get short. But, too quick right now to... Well, I wouldn't do it on a mini today. Certainly not on this account. But you can see, B periods, let's sit on the CPO as well. So you've got 2 periods to exactly the same level. We need that to resolve. But it did give us a price rejector at the top on the session and an A period. So it traded back down to the overnight high, breached it by 3 ticks. Could go either way. That's clues. YM has RCY has UB at high, big absorption at 503 on YM. Sorry, 502, 111 lots lifted the bid. Okay, I think we'll resolve this now and go higher. Yeah, everything else is moving up. Here we go. So we've now got a price rejector at the top of B period. But RCY is pushing up, NQ is pushing up. I think this ledge is going to break.
What would have to change for you to see this as a poor high that you might want to take advantage of in the other direction?
I want to see everything heading down. I mean, what is interesting is NQ breached 16,000, big fat round number, and a price rejector. RCY still has UB, but look at how they all fell back from that as a logical area. But RCY gave us the clue we're going to go further through the UB.
Yeah.
So I can understand why things paused, but they're being challenged again. Here we go. Yeah, fine.
Yep, there he is.
And it went through some aggression. There was a 0 print at 62.25 that just got filled in. So we've got B to A. It's not high enough yet. There's no price rejector or anything at the top. Bit of absorption. RTY still hasn't resolved it. I'm not joining in until I'm this too sweepy and volatile. But okay, that is midpoint from somewhere. 74.25 must be. It says looking at daily chart must be yesterday's midpoint of one of the sessions. That's going to be in play. But for me now, I'm done with my trading on this account for the day because it's 50% above pretty much what it needs pro rata on this combine. So it's pointless me joining in with any of this and risking eroding the available drawdown that's on this account. It'd be stupid to. So what we'll do, we'll watch this for another 10, 15 minutes or so. I'll just say what I see. Say what you see. Okay, UB at the high, or I could go into sim. Where's my button for sim? It's going to be down here. The labels are off. That's weird. I copied this chart book from one machine onto this machine, and the buttons on my toolbar are different, which is annoying. But what I'll do, I'll put it in sim. Here we go, it's sim mode on. What would we do with something like...
That's theorem annoyance number 2, is that stuff like that doesn't travel with the chart book.
Yeah, you need to take the right files with you.
Yeah.
Okay, and that, well, it was just sorting itself out. I missed an opportunity to get in. Can I lean on the delta? Yes. Can I get out of that UB? No. I have a price rejector down here. I'm still comfortable with the idea. Even now, I'm still comfortable with the idea. Not so comfortable now. Oh dear, that's why I don't want to trade it live.
Growing less comfortable by the tick.
These sweeps, because that could easily, that sort of move can easily kill an evaluation. Yeah, the idea is good, but the execution is really hard.
Yeah, today is a day you really can't execute with any kind of pinpoint accuracy that you need with these ridiculous rules. So,
which you need all the time if you're going to manage risk.
Well, true. Yeah.
The idea, lean on the big negative delta is fine. There's a big positive delta down there. Let's try that. Let's show, scaling into a position. Yeah. So I'm leaning on 60. There's a big positive delta. There's a cluster of negative delta from 59.25 down to 58.5. If we break below that, I'll give up on this idea. It's left UB at the bottom of it. Fine. This is exactly why days like this are, what on earth is going on there? Did I hit flatten and something odd happened there? I think I did, didn't I? But, that's why days like this are so hard. We've left UB at the high. And he says, reminding himself what he said an hour and 10 minutes ago, it would not necessarily be surprising on the day before NFP to leave UB at the extremes of the session. So the UB that we've got, I'm thinking out loud here, the UB that we've got could easily just be teasing us, to be resolved tomorrow by NFP. RTY has left UB at the high, and YM has big absorption. YM broke big fat round numbers, 34,500. ES broke 16,000. So that is potentially not necessarily going to resolve as UB. We will see. So I think what we'll do, we'll continue, let's say, till about 9:15, because we saw B2A. We'll go on for like another 10 minutes, just watch this resolution potentially of the UB. So we're at an interesting point with, I've lost where NQ is. We're at an interesting point with the UB on RTY and this big absorption at the top of YM. But then, 9:15, I think we can start to wrap it up. Okay, very hard right now to read, signs of an entry to get back up to the top. Or if we are going to head back down to the middle, 43.5 is standing out, that big positive delta. We're at a point right now, we could go either way. And a day like this as well, with such a huge range, be mindful that, initial balance break may not have much more to give. If we do a 60-point range in the first 30 minutes, and it's NFP tomorrow, we can easily have a, quite a mild break to the initial balance. Maybe we break the downside and it, tests 4,500 again. and then we head back into the middle and we just bounce around. I'm just thinking contextually about what we've got coming up tomorrow. So I'm going to continue to 1/4 past, then we'll wrap things up. I think may have disabled chat in this, I'm not sure, but what I'll do, I'm going to, if I do this, I can do it somewhere. Oh, Zoom is not obliging me, it's been slow, come on. No. There we go. Fine. So I'm going to gently start to wrap up. If you've got any questions about, oh, look at that, that's interesting. Price rejector, 44.5, down to 43.75. Yep, just above the big positive delta. Big negative delta on YM at 377. Is this possibly turned around now to go and resolve the UB? It would have been really hard to get in. But let's just watch this now, off that price rejector, just in this sort of 44 area. I think that was turnaround now in B period to try and go up to the UB. So we'll just watch this and see if that was an appropriate way of reading it. Okay, so we've tightened up on the session min-max deltas between 48 and 49. LTY and certainly YM, YM seems to be comfortably above that. I think we're going to go and resolve the UB. But just really hard trade because of the sweepiness and the risk. But RTY and YM are moving up nicely now. If you get an entry on ES, I think you'd be okay to get back up to the high. It's being a bit stubborn. So need to watch what happens down here around this price trajectory area, 44.5 or so. If this breaks, it looks like that's going to break. 43.5, we get down through that. It's held so far. So you need to watch what RCY and YM are doing. I think YM's the clue. RCY is about to get lower, I think. And he's building to the downside, seems to be.
The problem with YM is Apple is down big today. Yeah. Big chunk of it, big chunk of the 30, and it's and they're weighted, so
which is profit taking from the other day when it was the only thing that was up.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we're going to go down now. So I would not chase this UB at the session high at any cost today because of NFP tomorrow. I can well imagine we break the low, which would be a horrible looking pair of candlesticks, explore around 4,500 at the low, maybe leave some UB there, and then we're going to wait for NFP tomorrow. So I think once one side of the range breaks today, I think there could be some good range trading to do. But I think you've got to really, I would not be chasing the UB at the high today, not once we're down here, and not with NFP being tomorrow. So I think I will wrap it up there. I'll say Burning Desires going once. You got any questions from this morning, throw them in the chat. Wow, a bit of aggression there. Look at that, 400 lots against 0. Throw them in the chat. Otherwise, you're doing tomorrow, Jeff, aren't you? You're doing all 3 slots, I believe.
Yeah, I am, and I'm probably going to do start early too for NFP.
Because of NFP.
So I'll probably post something about that if I'm up and feeling like it.
Cool. In fact, could even use the same meeting, couldn't you?
And just open it early. I think that's what I probably will do. But I was going to check with JVC on that. Yeah. In fact, tell you what, JVC that. Are you still here, JVC? Or
he's gone.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll get something posted about that.
Good stuff. Cool. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Have a good day, guys, and tread carefully, and don't go chasing things that have good reasons, not necessarily resolve themselves today. So there we go. Thank you, Andrew. Have a cautious day. Bye for now.